Can we proceed with the fourth question?
Sure.
Yes. Tem aqui a pergunta número 4 da Ângela. Como o mestre vê esse momento planetário? Como podemos servir melhor nesse momento? So, pergunta número 4 é da Angela. Angela is making the fourth question. How do you see this this world, this moment in the world, in the planet? How can we serve better in this moment?
That's again a great question, because so far we have been talking about diet, exercise, lifestyle, etc., which will make us healthy. But this question is now trying to look beyond the individual and thinking of what we can do for the world. So that is again a very important part of yoga, because even if we are interested in self-improvement, that self-improvement does not happen in a vacuum. It happens through what we do, what we give. And the key to this is loving, and that love getting expressed through giving. Now you might say that how does that differ from an ordinary sort of person who does not think on sort of from the ordinary point of view, from the mental point of view? The person does not believe in God, the person doesn't believe in spirituality, but even at a mental level, he can see that there are some social problems and I can do something to remove them. So he loves those people and he expresses this love by doing something for those people, which he thinks will help these people. Now, the difference is that when a person does it from the spiritual point of view as a part of his yoga, then firstly, this love itself is not just a sentiment, it is inspired by a sense of oneness. Because the person feels that there is something fundamental, a deeper level at which we are not separate, we are one. And that oneness is because in complex terms, you might say that we are a visible forms or manifestation of the same divine, the same God, or in simpler language, we are children of the same God. And if the divine essence is there in each one of us, that divine essence is the same. The surface may be different. From the outside, there may be differences in terms of the color of the skin, the type of hair we have, the gender, and the country in which we are born, the language that we speak, or the way we think and behave. Now, all those things may be different, but at a basic level, we are one. Now that once that sense of oneness, then the separation, which is the very basis of ego is me versus all the rest, that gets broken. That ego barrier is broken. There's a sense of oneness. This oneness inspires love. And then this love is expressed. How is it expressed? By giving what we have to those who need it. That complementary situation is important. We can give only what we have, but then we can't also give what we have to those who do not need what we can give. So both the things are important. So we express this love. And since these people whom we can give something, we thought they had a problem, we feel that we are solving this problem, we are improving the world. But that is an illusion. Because firstly, the problems do not disappear because of this. If problems of the world had to disappear because of social work, philanthropy, charity, revolutions, if the world had to become a better place and change completely as a result of any of these things, it would have happened long ago. So many revolutionaries and social workers and philanthropists have come and gone. But the basic character of the world has still not changed. Because the root cause is a level of consciousness. And therefore, the problems will not disappear till the consciousness of the human race goes up to a higher level, where a much larger number of people than now feel the type of oneness and love that we were talking about. So the numbers have to increase. And in that sense, the person is contributing to that process. The person has been inspired by that sense of oneness, and therefore he loves. So he's adding one more person to the world, and therefore raising the average one little bit. He may inspire a few more, that will raise it still a little bit more. So that is how he's helping that process. But then what is he doing in terms of the social problems? Yes, the problems don't disappear, but still does make a difference because every little bit counts. More than how much it can solve the problem, which you can evaluate objectively, it creates a good atmosphere in the world. At least it creates in people a trust in goodness in the world. That if I am in misery, I am not alone. There are people who will come to help me. So the person develops faith in the basic goodness of human beings, even if the problem is not completely solved. So it creates that atmosphere, and that atmosphere also reflects then in the level of consciousness of the human race. So through all these things, the person is contributing. But then if he tries to evaluate the outcome objectively, which is a common fashion these days, then he may be disappointed because the problem has not disappeared. People who has tried to help may not be even grateful. All those things can happen. But he is not affected if he is doing it in the spirit of karma yoga. Why? Because he's not looking at all this. He's only thinking in terms of doing what he has to do as an instrument of the divine. And the clue or the hints that he got what he should do is from the unique talents and gifts that he has, from the circumstances in which he has been placed. From that, he gets a cue. This is what God expects from me as his instrument. Let me do it. He has given me the ability. He has given me the conditions or circumstances. So let me do it. So he's doing it in that spirit. He's not attached to the outcome. He's therefore will not be affected by the outcome when it is evaluated objectively. He will not be affected by that. So the person can work and work with equanimity if the person, without getting upset, if the person looks at it this way. The only outcome which is guaranteed 100% is that this person himself who is doing it will rise in consciousness, and therefore he'll also feel better. He'll feel more peaceful, and he'll feel that life has been meaningful. So he'll get a sense of fulfillment because that in fact is the deeper purpose of life. So his purpose of life is being fulfilled. The problem is not being solved. It is helping, as I said, in many ways. But the problem is not disappearing because of that. And still, it is worthwhile. It is important to do it, but with the understanding that it will not change the world. So the question was, how can we see this world and how can we serve better? We can see this world at a certain stage of evolution. It is not a finished product. The world is also a work in progress in the sense that consciousness is evolving. And human beings are in that unique position where they can contribute to the further progress of this work. And by doing what the person should be doing, the person fulfills the purpose of his own life and makes one little contribution also to this work in progress, takes it one little small step further. And the world is as it is because of the present level of consciousness. That is why it appears to be a place which is full of problems, difficulties, misery, sorrow, inequality, injustice, cruelty, suffering, and so on. But then you'll say that if Sri Aurobindo and the mothers talked about evolution being very close and are reaching a point where evolution will improve the world, then what about that process? They talked about it about 100 years ago. Now many more people are talking about it. Is it really happening? There are indications that it is actually happening. Firstly, the children who are being born today, it seems there's a much larger number of children now who come with a different level of consciousness. They start looking out and start thinking more deeply about existence, about their life, and at a very early age, they start thinking more in terms of what they would like to do for others. There's a great tendency all over the world now. Align your passion with your profession, because one has to make a living, but many young people are trying to not just make a living by making as much money as possible any which how, but a lot of young people are trying to see what is it that I really enjoy doing? What is it that I'm passionate about? What is it that I'm best equipped to do? And within that, they find using that type of special talents, how can I help the world? What can I do for the world? And then they try to find out how I can change it, give it the shape of a profession so that I can also make a living out of it. Not too much money, but some money I can make. I can convert it into a product. I can convert it into a solution. I can convert it into something which the world needs and which will improve the world. So there's a tendency to align your passion with your profession. That is happening. That is one indication. More and more young people looking beyond their own immediate interests and needs and thinking of how I can help the world while also taking care of making some modest living, not too much money, but some money I can need, but then I can do it through this type of work. Second indication comes from statistics, because although the statistics to anybody will look very bad, so many wars, so many people dying, this happening, that happening, and so on. But on a larger scale, it has been seen that the number of people in the world who now have access to reasonable amount of food, they're not starving, there's no famine, to food, to education, to healthcare, is more than it has been ever before in human history. Their number today is much larger. People who have access to all these basic things like food, education, and healthcare. Secondly, the number of people dying in armed conflicts is less today than it has been a few hundred years ago. So it's not that more people are dying. When people die in any era, people will think that so many people are dying in wars, so many people are dying due to so many things. But people dying due to natural disasters and wars and armed conflicts today is less than it used to be in the past. There are statistics to show that. So all these things are showing that the world is changing. It will not change overnight, but things are happening. And many of these things came to the front during the COVID pandemic. Within those 2 years, it seems the world changed more than it had changed in the previous 200 years. Those 2 years were really very meaningful. The world underwent a big change. And again, that can be a big topic in itself. How it changed in a way that has made further evolution of consciousness more easy. And this is one of the examples what we are doing today. This possibility has existed for 40, 50 years, but not enough use was being made of it. COVID made us conscious. How is it that we can reach out to the world and interact with the entire world? So it has created the possible sense of a one world feeling, and also the possibility of bringing teachers from any part of the world in contact with students from any part of the world.
Outra profunda resposta da pergunta. Então, vou tentar resumir. A pergunta é qual é então a visão que o mestre tem do mundo e o que a gente pode fazer para servir, né? É muito lindo escutar o mestre porque, bom, a gente pode integrar todas as aulas que a gente teve até agora, né? Que tem a ver com o que estamos falando. Então, a visão, vamos começar mais do final para trás. A visão do mundo é a visão de um trabalho que está em processo, né? Que não é um produto final, não uma coisa terminada. E até o ser humano também está em evolução, isso é bem importante nessa disciplina, e que está aí ainda para continuar evoluindo e avançando para uma forma mais evoluída. Bom, então, esse mundo que está em processo, bom, a gente pode colaborar com esse processo, né, do mundo através de nossas ações. De fato, isso é que o Yoga Integral fala também, que o ser humano pode colaborar contribuir nessa evolução natural que o mundo já tem. Então, como pode colaborar com o yoga? Com o yoga, quer dizer, cumprindo o seu propósito da vida, que não é outra coisa que dar passos, como a gente falou, na direção da consciência de unidade. Então, dessa forma, né, a pergunta era como podemos servir melhor? Bom, podemos servir melhor dessa forma. Estou começando para trás, porque de trás para frente a resposta, por quê? Porque no fato de cumprir nosso propósito, né, que é dar passos até no sentido do objetivo da vida, que é o objetivo final da vida, que é a união, né, que é yoga, uma forma de expressar essa união é através do amor, né, que é um sentido de, não é só, o mestre fala, não é só um sentimento, é um estado, um sentido de união, de unidade, né? Mas não só sentir o amor, senão expressar o amor, né? Quando a gente expressa o amor, a gente está agindo desde um estado de união, que é um estado da consciência de união, tá? Então, quando a gente faz isso, vamos dizer, essa expressão do amor permite a gente dar no sentido da consciência do objetivo final da vida. Então, isso é parte do que podemos fazer para servir, no aspecto, por exemplo, individual, pode ser de alguma forma. E se a gente faz isso, muitas vezes, quer dizer, se conecta com esse estado de amor, expressa o amor, que é uma forma de expressar, é dar o que a gente tem para dar para aquele que precisa. Que isso também é importante, por quê? Porque essas coisas têm que se conectar. Quer dizer, a gente pode, vamos dizer, primeiramente, dar o que a gente tem, né? Não o que a gente não tem, mas dar o que a gente tem, mas a gente pode dar o que a gente tem para aquele que não precisa, né? Então, dar o que a gente tem para aquele que precisa, esses dois aspectos têm que se conectar, tá bom? Então, de tanto fazer isso, esse estado de unidade vai transformar a pessoa.
Se quiser dormir, dorme de uma vez, viu, Lu? Porque daqui a pouco eu vou te acordar.
Tá bom? Então, vai transformar a pessoa. Quer dizer, a pessoa vai estar, como a gente falou, agindo muito mais na consciência da unidade que na consciência da separação, que é o ego. O mestre falou, o ego tem a ver com o sentido de separação, de eu e os outros. Bom, desde o ponto de vista externo, essas ações guiadas pelo amor, dar o que a gente tem para aquele que precisa, vão trazer sempre uma coisa boa, vão aos poucos transformar o mundo, vai inspirar as outras pessoas. E aí o mestre faz uma comparação com outras ações, né, que tem a ver com não sei, fazer alguma coisa pelos outros, né, mas que não tem um efeito assim duradouro, né? Não sei se está aqui ainda. A Ângela foi que fez a pergunta, né? Aqui tá bom. Então, quer dizer, o mestre menciona 4, por exemplo, caridade, menciona trabalho social, menciona até essas revoluções, né? E tudo isso realmente não tem um efeito duradouro. De fato, se a solução, né, para a transformação, para a elevação da consciência da humanidade fosse essa, já teria acontecido, né? Então, isso acontece mais, acontece menos, mas não alcança a mudar de forma permanente a humanidade, para propiciar uma humanidade mais feliz, mais com maior harmonia. Por quê? Porque, vamos dizer, o que vamos dizer, tem que ser adicionado para essas coisas é um nível de consciência mais elevado. Quer dizer, da onde está originada essa ação, seja a que for. Então, essa ação vai, expressada de qualquer forma, vai chegar nos outros, vai inspirar os outros também, e quando muitas pessoas inspirados por essa consciência da unidade, vamos dizer, façam o que tenham que fazer no mundo desde esse lugar de unidade, então, com certeza, o nível de consciência da humanidade vai aumentar. Bom, as consequências de harmonia disso vão ser muito visíveis. Então, esse é o objetivo final do yoga integral, tá bom? Agora, um aspecto que o mestre coloca no final é que, bom, parece que foi perguntado, né, muitas vezes, que é se realmente esse progresso do mundo está acontecendo ou não. E ele dá algumas referências. Primeira é que vamos dizer, geração após geração, as novas gerações cada vez mais estão mostrando que as pessoas vêm vamos dizer, com outro tipo de consciência no sentido do que elas procuram, né? Que muito mais as novas gerações vão mostrando, né, uma tendência a seguir a sua guia interior, a paixão pelo que eles têm na vida, etc, etc, e não tanto coisas materiais, né? Isso já é um signo. Outro signo tem mais a ver com a estadística, que mesmo que a gente veja que muitas pessoas morrem por uma guerra ou pelos desastres naturais e tal, estadisticamente, em comparação com outras épocas, é cada vez menos as pessoas que morrem por isso. Então, isso é um indicador de que também, vamos dizer, está acontecendo uma evolução. E a última que menciona o mestre é a questão da pandemia, que fala que é um grande tema para abordar em outro momento, mas que foi um acelerador de tudo isso, né, dessa evolução. E que uma das coisas que deixou a pandemia por exemplo, essa possibilidade de a gente nos conectar mais fluidamente, mesmo que a tecnologia já existia, não estava usada tanto como agora, né? Não sei, o mestre da Índia, né, possa se conectar com alunos do mundo inteiro e alunos do mundo inteiro possamos nos conectar com o mestre da Índia de forma muito fácil, rápida e simples.